Hey guys, it's Orlok. For a while now, I've been wanting to record and make some videos in which I explain how I make wrestling posters. Now, before you guys comment and send me messages on this video after you watch it, calling me a noob and inexperienced and all that, I just want to explain that I've been doing graphic design a very long time. I'm 38 years old. I've been doing it, have had interest in it since the 5th grade. Like ever since I was a little kid and seeing the video game Contra in the arcade of a bowling alley, I knew I wanted to put pictures and images on screens and create them and, manipulate people's emotions and all that stuff. So, anyway, I do have legit skills. Um, I graduated from County College of Morris with a associate's degree in multimedia, which is like websites and graphic design and making kiosks and interactive things in 2001. And I also graduated from the Chubb Institute with a certificate in multimedia again in 2004. I haven't made a website since 2004. Since 2005, I've been working full time, 40, 50 hours a week at various printing companies in New Jersey, printing pharmaceutical brochures and college brochures and different things. I've been making the posters for ECPW now for about 10 years. Used to really suck at it, but I've gotten a lot better. I'm about to show you guys how I made like the best poster that I think I made this year. I'm just going to break it down step by step. I'm pretty old school. Like a lot of people, they make the whole poster in Photoshop, and I'm old school. I was taught when I went to school that Photoshop is just for editing photos. InDesign is for designing. Illustrator is for illustrating and making logos and vector art. And, oh yeah, there's two different types of graphics. Vector art, which is like lines and shapes and text. And raster art, which is made up of pixels, like photographs. But I'll get into all that later. But, alright guys, enjoy the video. Hopefully I explain how I make a poster. See you guys later. Alright guys, I'm going to show you how I make a poster. This is the ECPW Brooklyn poster. It's already completed. Let me launch Adobe InDesign, which I used to make the poster. And here is the poster fully done. Now it's loaded. I think it came out really good. I think it's probably the coolest poster I've made this year. And just break it down for you guys. Alright, over here we got the layers palette. I'm just going to turn off these three layers, the lines, text, and rustlers. First things first, the background. I bought this image off stock.adobe.com. Used to be Dollar Photo Club, where you bought 10 images for $10 a month. It was $1 image, but they got bought out by Adobe Stock, and now it's $30 a month. So I've downloaded this, and the image in itself is 23 some change by 15 and some change at 300 dpi. Pretty cool. Called it into there and I rotated it negative 90 degrees. The next layer is the text. Now the text for this poster, the whole thing is pretty much Impact. That is the font I used. Impact. It's a standard font that comes on every computer, whether Mac or PC. It comes pre-installed. If you don't have it, you could download it. You could probably find it free somewhere. Got pro wrestling up top. Very important. The ECPW logo. I designed this myself with. I bought this silhouette of a wrestler off stock.adobe.com. Paid $3 for it and took the silhouette of one wrestler giving another wrestler a German suplex. Added some red on the bottom, some blue up top. Added a star, letters ECBW. This font is also Impact because it seems to fit it pretty well. Yeah, the whole thing is Impact. I like to set all my text first before I add any wrestlers. This is a text box right here. I can go to type, object, text frame options. We've got a 1/4 inch margin around it and justify vertical justification. Vertical justification means that no matter what length or size I make this thing vertically, that's where all the text goes. This font that I use for the words Gangsta's Paradise, that's called Philly Sands. I got it on Font.com. It's free. Just downloaded it and installed it. There's no... Somebody's calling me. There is no apostrophe in this font. There's no apostrophe in this font, so I just took the top of a G and I made it. And I did the gradient. Go to my color swatches. There's 100% yellow ink and 100% magenta ink, CMYK, and I did a gradient that fades from window color gradient that fades from pink to yellow, 90 degrees. The other text here, had to narrow it because the inset it's only 63% wide. Timothy Theory and Robert Saint, that's 71% wide. Gangsters is 100. Bella Super Nitro is 100%. No. Color that yellow. The rest I colored paper. Next are the lines. Now, I've got an outer glow on the lines and the text. If I remove everything. To get the outer glow, on this stuff, I went to effects, added the outer glow effects. I go multiply. What multiply does is it casts like a shadow on top of everything, makes it really dark. It's not just like a standard black. 100%, eighth of an inch, spread 50%. You can see you make it bigger, but I'll just cancel that. Now the lines themselves. Cool thing about InDesign is you could take an InDesign document and put it in an InDesign document. But open up the lines. They're just regular lines and there's no effect on them. 12.5. I made it 4.5 point. That's a 1/16 of an inch wide for all you mathematicians out there. The poster itself is 13 inches by 19 inches. And I can't just go like full spread 13 by 19 inches. I need like a 1/4 inch white space because of the printer. So this width is 12.5 and this background is 12.5 by 18.5. And to get this, cool thing about InDesign, you could go 12.5. Since I know there's 3 on the side, divided by 3, it'll give you 4.1667. Do that across. You got all the information there. And if I just take all these lines and, add an outer glow to it as normal, it's going to look weird. And it's not the effect I want. So I take this InDesign document and file, place, desktop, links, take the lines document, insert there. Six and a half, 9.5, 12.5, 18.5. Here, you take the white arrow tool, you go effects outer glow, multiply, black, 100, 50. and you don't get, and the effect stays within the confines of the box. Like I don't have black going into the 1/4 inch margin there. Alright, now that got your text and lines and all that, then you add the pictures. The way layers works is what's on top is like the foreground, and the background I have all the way on the bottom here, so it's the background. First things, I added the Gangsters, their former ECW tag team from the 90s. Took their picture. His elbow was a little bit cut off, so I just kind of like feathered it out, but it's not like the full thing. What I do is called a clipping path, where see this blue line, just go in and draw that. I mean, basically what clipping path is, you know, you go loose around the guys. But I already did this part, but you can zoom in, use the pen tool again. You can move the anchor point, draw handles, add more anchor points, remove anchor points. You know, there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube about Photoshop clipping paths. You can go Google them and look them up. But yeah. Once you get that done, you click on the path, go Save Path. Oh, that's not an option. And then go Clipping Path. And then you're done. I got the Gangsters here. ECW Brooklyn champ Tony Biella. This is like the worst pick ever, but it's the pick of himself that he likes. So I just use it. Super Nitro, Frankie Flo, his son Junior Flo. Turning on the layer for Robert Saint on the other side. Timothy Theory, Ben Benedetto, and I could just leave the poster like this once you get it all set, but it's kind of flat and boring. I just recently discovered this technique about a year or so ago. I was Google searching, and it's called typing in like grunge skin, or other people call it like the Freezy Amazing Detail Effect. But technically the name for it is called the Dodge and Burn Effect. I'm going to take this, export it. I'll just export it to the desktop. Wrestlers as a PNG. You want to go maximum quality, 300 DPI, RGB. Transparent background, anti-alias, that like softens the edges, makes them. Use document bleed settings. There's no bleed on this, but you export it. It's writing a PNG. It's going to take a while. Alright, here you got the all the wrestlers in one image. It's kind of flat and boring. Alright, you go to your layers palette here, or just window layers. You're gonna take this, drag it here. You're gonna change the blending mode on here from normal to vivid light. It'll look like that. This isn't the end all be all, it's just progress. And you go image, invert, or Apple I, Command I. And you should see this gray muddy image. That's okay, it's just part of the process. And next you want to blur that, and you go filter, blur, surface blur. And 50 radius, 50 threshold. Hit OK. And this part takes a while, but let it do its thing. And it should look like that. Now you want to get rid of all the color in this. So you could hit this hue saturation button here, but just go image, layer actually, new adjustment layer, hue saturation. Just hit OK. Take the saturation slider, drag it all the way to the left so it's 0. And it should look like that. So you got this layer, that layer, should look like that. Now here we're going to do a stamp visible. I'm not sure what the controls are on a PC, but on a Mac they're Command, Control, Shift, E. Actually, I'm wrong about that. It is Command, Option, Shift, E. And it adds another layer. Like that. Stamp visible. So to do that, you hit Command, hold down Command, Option, Shift, and hit E. And once you get that, you can take your hue saturation layer and drag it to the trash. Take this layer, drag it to the trash. Take the blending mode on this and make it overlay. And what started out as a flat, boring image now looks kind of grungy and cool and more detail. I have like a program under actions, you know, for this, but yeah. Open the layer, dupe the layer, change the blending mode to vivid light, invert it, surface blur, threshold 50, radius 50, new hue saturation layer, drag the saturation all the way down, stamp visible, delete layer, and overlay. And once you're done with this, just hit merge visible, click on here, hit merge visible, and you should only have one layer that with transparency, and you can save that. Go back to your InDesign document. All these layers that you did, you can just hide them. Take off the I logo. Turn back on background, text, and I called it in already. I file placed that PNG. What I did on this layer, I have a gradient feather effect. I'm gonna just hit this and turn it off. What I did is you take this gradient feather tool, you zoom in over here. I went from the top of this layer, you can see like a little arrow on it, on the cursor, on the mouse. Drag it down and you got this. Just hold down shift and it goes 45 degrees, 90 degrees. Just go straight down while holding shift to the end of there, and it fades out the bottom like Back to the Future. And that's the final poster. Once I'm done with this, I go to File, Export, and I export a JPEG. Maximum, progressive, 72 DPI is fine. RGB, embed the color profile, or else it'll be all kinds of wacky colors. Anti-aliasing. 72 DPI is good for web. 300 DPI is good for print, but for print I may also just make a PDF. Adobe PDF presets, press quality. And I'll just like save that to the desktop. And you can see it working in the background over here. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them below. This is pretty much the coolest poster I've made this year in 2018, and I've made a lot of them. Been making the posters for ECBW for 10 years, and they put on 80-90 shows a year, so I've probably made like 800, 900, maybe 1,000 posters. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Any questions or comments, let me know. Bye.